We're going live, yep.
Good morning. It's 10:32, and I'd like to call the November 10th, 2022 meeting of the Lackawanna County Regional Planning Commission to order. Roll call. Cindy Campbell, Vice Chair. Jerry Carey, Secretary. Rosemary Broderick. John Pocious.
Here.
Harry Lindsay.
That's it.
Chet Murley, Jr. Tony Grisanti.
Yeah. Here.
And Tim O'Brien.
Here.
And welcome, Tim, to the board.
Thank you.
Okay, so I know Cindy was muted, so we didn't hear her, but just so we know that Jerry, Rose, and Harry are absent. Everybody else is here.
Oh, yeah, I'm here. So I just unmuted, sorry. And I talked to Chet on Tuesday, and he said he was going to be participating, so maybe he'll be late.
Who's that?
Chet Murley.
Chet's on.
Oh, he's on. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't hear him say he was. Okay.
Chet, are you unmuted or? You might have a problem.
Chet, are you there? We can't hear you. Yeah, we cannot hear you. Maybe dial back in or log back in. Can you hear us? Oh, I can't hear.
He can, yeah.
No, I can't hear him.
No,
Okay.
I can't either. There's two Chets on the screen here. I don't know if one's a phone and the other's a computer. Because the phone is mute, the other one is muted, the one without the video.
I see the same thing, Mary Liz. He's up twice, one with a picture, one without.
Right.
Maybe somebody hold a sign up and said, Chet, where are you?
Right. So if you're voting yes, Chet, give us a thumbs up.
Yeah.
That's all we can do.
Okay. Public comment. Are there any comments or questions?
I did not receive any requests for the link, so.
Okay. Minutes. The minutes for the October 13th, 2022 meeting have been distributed by email to the board. Are there any questions, corrections, additions, deletions to the document? Seeing none, I ask for a motion to approve the minutes as distributed.
I'll make that motion, Carol.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Oh, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. Bills, Mary Liz?
Okay, as you can see, it was a light month for bills as well, just the zoning and planning subscription. And then Jessica went to Planning Partners in State College, so that's her travel reimbursement.
Very good. Oh, I ask for a motion to approve the bills. All in favor say, oh, I'm sorry, a motion.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Thank you. All in favor say aye.
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 Any objections?
No.
Who made the second? I'm sorry, I didn't.
Tim O'Brien.
Tim?
Okay.
Okay.
I had a question on one bill. Could you all hear me now, by the way?
Oh yeah, there you are.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what? I'm beyond my skis with having the two computers. I have one where I have all the minutes up and all of the submittals up so I could see it. So I have a docking station. Just one question on the zoning and planning report subscription. Is that something that would be benefit to a local borough? Mary Liz?
It's pretty much the court cases throughout the country for the previous month. So okay. I mean, it's definitely something for an attorney, and then we kind of look through them to see if there's anything that affects Pennsylvania.
Okay. Could you forward me one?
Sure.
And then I'm not sure people would want to see it at Blakely, but thanks.
Yeah, I could send you a copy. Yep.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay. Chet, your solicitor might have access to it already. You can check with him.
Yeah, we never have a solicitor at the planning commission meetings, only at the
Zoning.
Oh, no, well, definitely,
council.
yeah, at the council meetings, and of course the separate solicitor at the zone hearing. Correct.
Okay. Well, he still might have access to them. Wouldn't hurt to find out.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to just say that the motion passes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we move on to communication.
Okay, again, light month. 3 of them were just support letters for some DCNR grants. The 4th one was the letter to Fell Township regarding the regional planning that we're doing up there. We gave them a reduced cost, and we basically outlined all the advantages to them, and then we asked them to respond by November 15th. I will talk a little bit more about that when we get to that in the agenda, but that is it for communications.
Okay, and we move to old business.
Okay, transportation planning. We did receive our second quarter 21-22 invoice reimbursement from PennDOT. That was $27,402.58. Out of that amount, $3,961 now goes to Colts because that was their portion for the transit planning. Under system planning, myself, Jess, and Eric went to PennDOT, had a stakeholders presentation on the National Electric Vehicle Plan. That was at the 911 Center. There were representatives there also from PP&L, DEP, and Clean Cities. The EVs are moving forward at a pretty brisk pace at this point, so we're keeping in the loop with that. Myself, Bob, Jess participated in the HOP quarterly meeting with PennDOT. That's the highway occupancy permits that we review. Every quarter, PennDOT goes over what they've received on applications for highway occupancy permits, and then we kind of compare that with what we're reviewing here for plans. Bob and Eric actually finished HPMS. That was supposed to be wrapped up by the end of November. It actually was submitted to Harrisburg this morning, so we are done with that. And we actually did get our quality review back from the state in September. We had to go out with the representative from Harrisburg and review some of our sites, and we got a 98.9% on the review. So that was considered exceptional as far as PennDOT was.
Great, congratulations.
Yep.
Very good.
Thank you. And then Bob and Jess are working with Dixon City on a parks, trail, and streetscape project. And if Bob, you want to say just a word or two about what's going on there.
Sure. So they're looking to improve the walkability and bikeability of their downtown area. They submitted a conceptual bike network map to us about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. So we looked it over, gave some feedback, and we passed it on to the county engineer for more technical feedback. And our next meeting with them is the 16th. I believe it's next Wednesday.
Okay, that's it for transportation. Scranton Abington's. Unofficially, Craig Beavers has said the ordinance is in council's hands right now. I haven't heard anything. I know we did it. South Abington asked a couple days ago what's going on, forwarded it to the city. Craig basically got back to me with the same thing. It's my understanding that CMC and the city I'm not really sure what's going on there, but the issue right now is CMC. It was suggested that the council pass it and then go back and amend it, addressing CMC's concerns, but I don't know at this point. So let's fingers crossed, because they said they'd have it done by the end of the year, but I don't know.
Hope so.
Yeah. Okay, the passenger rail resumption to New York. You saw the paper last week. The state awarded the Northeast Rail Authority a RACP grant for $3.7 million, going to be used as a match for federal funds that they're going to apply for 43,000 new railroad ties on the Pocono Main Line. That's between Gouldsboro and the Water Gap. And then these ties are needed for the trains to reach the top speed of 80 miles per hour, which is Amtrak, what they require for their corridor. So 30 years that we've been doing this, it seems like it's moving at a quicker pace than it has over the last 30 years. So keep fingers crossed on that as well.
You know, last night on TV, Biden gave a speech. I don't know what the whole thing of the speech was, but he talked, there's 4 projects he talked about, and he talked about that.
Wow.
I thought it was,
Great.
he talked about that at a national news conference yesterday afternoon, specifically about it.
It's promising.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on, hazard mitigation. We're still in the pending status with FEMA. There's only 4 counties that they have not awarded the money to. We're one of them. Getting a little concerned. I'm not sure what the problem is. Also doing a webinar next Wednesday with a representative from Westchester University and our planning consultant, Vision Planning. It's through the Penn State Extension. We're going to be doing that just on hazard mitigation planning, just a overview of what it entails. Okay, the NORLAC planning group. I told you about the letter we sent to Fell Township. Unofficially, I've heard back from their solicitor. I've not actually heard from the supervisors, but the solicitor has told me that they've changed their mind. They are going to participate.
Excellent.
They're speaking with Vandling just to make sure, because I think in the letter I had put that if they didn't do this, Vandling would not be able to, even though they wanted to. So I think there's some camaraderie going on there with Vandling. Hallelujah. So they are going to participate unless I hear otherwise. I'm hoping to hear officially, though, by the 15th of November.
Excellent.
On the flip side, Greenfield Township is now getting cold feet. So Ted and I are going back to Greenfield on December 6th to talk to them again, to make sure that they understand, you know, what's going on and that they're on board.
Any issues if they drop out?
No, they're on the fringe. They're on the fringe,
Okay.
but to their benefit, they're in desperate need of, you know, and this opportunity, you know, won't come around again. So
No, right.
yeah.
Good. Okay.
Going to the southern end of the county now, the North Pocono group, that's taking up some steam. Ted and I are going to, we're gonna be busy these next couple
I
weeks.
guess so, yeah.
We're going to be hitting up 6 meetings in the North Pocono area plus Greenfield, 2 of which are on the same night. December 5th, there's 2 meetings. December 6th, there's 2 meetings. So one's at 6, one's at 7, one's at 6, one's at 8. So we're going to be running around.
Wow.
But anyhow, Clifton, Covington, Madison, Moscow, Springbrook, and Thornhurst have all, you know, put us on their agendas. We're going to their meetings to talk about this. Hopefully they will agree to participate in a cost estimate.
Good.
The annual conference planning committee, again, the planning conference is in Scranton in October of next year. Jess and I are on the conference committee. We're both going to be working on the basket raffle, and I'm also going to be serving on the programs committee. And then our next meeting is set for December 16th. And going to APA, I have been elected treasurer of the Northeast Section Council. That's a 2-year term. And then we've also elected Kate McMahon as chair, Chris Chapman as vice chair, and Peter Wolfhurst as secretary. So that's it for old business, Carol.
Okay. We move now on to new business and the developmental reviews.
Okay, so we have 4 that we're going to highlight, two from Jess and 2 from Bob. So we could start with Jess, which is the first one in Jessup, page 7, and that's lands of LG&H Realty.
Perfect. Thanks, Mary Liz. Like Mary Liz said, this is lands of LG&H Realty. This is in Jessup. Currently, the property has a single-family dwelling, and the address is 135 Erie Street. So this is directly across from the it's just Jessup Memorial Field Park.
It's corner.
Yes.
Corner.
Yeah. This is the proposed development of 1 10-unit townhouse development. Each townhouse is 1,000 square feet, and then they do have an attached garage at the front of the building. So my comments start on page 8. A lot of these are some concerns regarding lot size, some setback concerns. Item number 1 here is specifically in reference to lot size and how the lot width was dimensioned and then written differently at different portions of the plan. So I'm not quite sure the actual lot size or the actual lot width. That's a concern there because according to their zoning ordinance, the lot must have a minimum width of 24 feet per townhouse. So total, that would be 240 in this situation. Moving on to item number 2, they did have a note listed on the plan referencing an email with the zoning officer. I just feel like maybe that needs to be looked at a little more closely by the zoning officer, also maybe by the borough planning commission or zoning hearing board in case it has to go that direction. There are some green incentives provided in the ordinance, but I'm not quite sure that what they're hoping for with the design of this plan is going to fall under the green incentive portions of the code. Items number 3 and 4 have to do with setbacks. Zoning hearing board could potentially offer some relief for those items, but this is in reference to setbacks. And then moving on to page number 9, they did reference that landscaping and lighting were part of the plan. We just didn't see any of those in the actual drawings themselves. So they may have some designs out there somewhere. We just didn't get a copy of them. And then item number 13 is in reference to parking. This is one of my larger concerns with this plan. So each townhouse has an attached garage and then a parking spot in front of the garage. But they do have a section of their code that indicates if you have to remove one vehicle in order to gain access to another, that then an additional space would be required. So in this situation, they would need an extra space per dwelling unit. They also don't have any overflow parking, so that's a little concerning, especially being right there on Erie Street. It might cause people to park on the street. Those are really the only items that I wanted to talk about with this plan. Does anyone have any questions?
It's just because of my lack of knowledge here. It's Tim. Who is the developer of this? And are they going to rent them or are they going to sell them?
I'm really not sure if they're going to rent it or not. I do have a comment in here specifically in reference to their stormwater management systems. Wondering if the units are going to be sold individually, if they're going to fall under maybe like a townhouse association. Not quite sure what they're planning to do with that. That's my question.
Who is the developer?
But the developer for this is
LG&H Realty.
LG&H Realty LLC.
You know who those principals might be?
I do not know, unfortunately.
Okay. No, that's okay. I'm just trying to learn.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
John, did you have something as well?
Yeah, I got 3 big issues here. Number 1, going to your comment, number 1, with all these questions on dimensions, I mean, land development requires a boundary survey by a professional land surveyor. So that would take care of that. I mean, if they don't have a survey, they're basically, the plan is insufficient. It's dead on arrival as far as I'm concerned. Number 2, a lot of the setback issues may require variances, which they may have to go to the zoning board for.
Right.
Exactly. And if they're on a state highway, an HOP is going to be required. And if they're backing out while a garage is onto the highway, they're dead in the water.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
I mean,
yeah, and this is
that's
actually
not to say this plan won't get approved with all this comments, but I'm just, this is, to me, it's unacceptable that this design could come in. I mean, Tony, Tony, what do you think? I mean, just yourself. I mean, this has got a lot of problems.
Yeah, and I don't know if everybody's aware or not, but we are not Jessup's engineer anymore. But I do obviously know everybody there still, and I did hear from their attorney that Jessup also has a lot of problems.
Okay, that's good, Tony. I mean, this plan seems like it's fraught for disaster here.
Yeah, they have a lot to go through.
Yes.
And Erie Street's a state road.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying, Chet. They're going to need an HOP.
Right.
Several if they're backing out.
Yeah.
Instead of the water, PennDOT will not allow them to back out on the highway. You know that, Tony.
Can't do that.
Right.
We did bring this up during our HOP meeting. We mentioned that we got this plan. And I don't think that they said they received anything yet from an HOP standpoint, but they do know that it should be forthcoming in the event that the plan even gets past this stage.
Jess, are they all backing out individually onto the road, or is it one way in and like an access road that goes in?
It's one way in, one way out, access road.
Okay. So there isn't actually 10 of them backing out all onto the state road.
Right. They're not backing directly out onto the road. There is a small, I think it's 24-foot access drive that goes in there.
Yeah. Well, that's sufficient for two-way traffic.
Jess, were these plans sealed by an engineer?
They were.
Okay. Because I never heard of design BLD.
This is my first time as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
me too, be honest with you.
All right. I mean, I'm not going to beat it to death, but it's got concerns.
Right.
Good job, Jessica.
Thank you.
Okay.
Nice
review, Jess.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on, if everybody's good with that. Page 10, Senior Healthcare Solutions in Dunmore. And Bob did the review on this one.
Yeah, so 3 issues. Well, first off, they got 8 variances. I have them listed on page 11. Other than that, I had 3 issues and 1 question for them. The first issue was they're planning 48 units for their assisted, well, I guess I should describe the project first. They're planning to build a 4-story, 48-unit assisted living facility at the corner of Chestnut and Calvin Street in Dunmore. So again, 8 different variances for a whole bunch of different things. The first issue I had was that in their ordinance, assisted living facilities are by definition 60 or more residents. They're planning 48. That wasn't addressed in anything they submitted to us. Second was landscaping. So they have 10 parking spaces across the rear property line. And the zoning ordinance says any parking lot with 10 spots requires a parking island, or a planting island rather. And their saldo says for the same size lot, they need minimum 1 tree and 10% of the parking area to be, landscaped. They didn't submit a plan, landscaping specific plan, and there was no landscaping shown in any aspect. So the third issue was the sight lines. So they're required to leave, how do I describe this? So from the intersection of the right of way and 30 feet along each property line, forming a triangle where they can't have anything built over 30 inches. And they're proposing the building pretty much right up to the corner. So a pretty good chunk of the building will be in that triangle. And then the fourth thing to call out, they recently said they are attempting to reach an agreement with a nearby church as far as sharing parking. As of July, when they met with the Dunmore Planning Commission, that had not been finalized. It was still up in the air. So just wanted to call that out and see if it had been finalized yet. Any questions?
They're basically putting a very large building on a very small lot.
Yes.
At the corner, only 10 parking spots, which employees probably would be more than that, let alone for visitors. So
it was actually 12 parking spots. 12? They have 10 in the back and then 2 up front.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Tim. I'm learning what we do here, so excuse us, but I have to. I know these folks well, and I know a lot of their projects literally all over the area, and they actually do a great job on them, maintain them. And that's the only comment I have. I don't know whether it's appropriate for this meeting, but they really do.
As long as they resolve everything with the borough.
Yeah.
There's no.
Yeah.
We just had to call out what their ordinances require.
I think it's phenomenal, frankly.
Okay, No further questions on that. Page 16, Penske facility, and that's back to Bob again.
Let me find it here. All right, so this is improvements and expansion of an existing Penske facility in Jessup. So they're looking to add, where are we here? 4,000 square feet for a new 2-bay vehicle maintenance building and 274 square foot office additions. So a couple of issues. First was comment number one. So the zoning ordinance has 2 different definitions that could apply based on what level of maintenance they're performing at the facility. So if it's an auto repair garage for higher level maintenance, it's not permitted in that district. And if it's lower level stuff like oil changes and whatnot, then it's I believe it was a special exception, but only south of US Route 6. It's currently north of it, or it's always been north of it. But yeah, so based on that, it's likely a non-conforming use, which limits how much they're able to expand it to 25% of the floor area. And what they're proposing would be a 57% expansion. So the second issue was that, so general note number 8 on the plan, they said they're not increasing the max impervious area, so they don't have to submit stormwater management plans or anything. But in their application to the borough, they specifically mentioned that they're doing paving, stormwater conveyance, and related site improvements. So I was just asking what improvements are they planning in that respect? And those were the major issues.
Well, it doesn't make any sense if they say there's no increase in impervious. What's the building? 4,500 square feet of impervious.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I believe it's already all paved. So.
Oh, they're kind of they're moving on into a paved area. Without the plants, it's kind of hard to see, Bob,
Yeah.
Again, I mean, they're great comments. I guess the borough has to work it out, right, Mary Liz, really?
Yep.
But it's a good review, Bob. Excellent.
Thank you.
And the last one, if we're done with that, page 28, Mountain View DC Realty. Just a little interesting thing in our HOP meeting with PennDOT, they had brought this plan up. We had not seen it at the time, and we were kind of horrified when we heard it. A couple days later, we did actually get the plans in. So PennDOT has major issues with this. I'll just let you know. They want right turn in and right turn out, and that's it. I don't know where this is going to go, but I'm going to let Jess explain it to you.
Sure, yeah. So this is Mountain View DC Realty. This is a warehouse project in Dixon City. So this is located behind the Sinawa Plaza in Eagle Billards.
Up behind Kmart, kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
This is going up on the hill behind that. And like Mary Liz said, PennDOT does have some concerns in reference to the access because they're trying to utilize the existing driveway for the plaza as their driveway for this warehouse. So all of those tractor trailers, all of the employees, everyone going to the plaza, they're all going to be using the same driveway. So that's some concerns. And that's actually detailed on page 29 under item 8. So in case you'd like to take a look at that, but this is a proposed 181,402 square foot warehouse facility with 24 loading docks. And again, they're expanding that driveway from the plaza up the hill to this warehouse. There is typical vehicle parking for, I assume, employees, visitors to the facility around the front. And then the driveway is proposed around the facility and up behind what is now the LCBC church facility next to the old Kmart to a gravel area that I assume is for overflow truck parking. So my comments start on page 29. There was a little concern for me over the actual size of the building. The dimensions are laid out as 450 feet by 400. That doesn't quite give me the square footage that we were talking about on the cover sheet and everywhere else in the plan. That overflow parking area, I start talking about it in item number 4 and 5. I assume that it's overflow truck parking, which would be great in most situations. Item number 5 indicates that they are required to surface it with asphalt or some kind of cement binding pavement or durable kind of surfacing. Right now, they're proposing it to be gravel and unmarked. They do have a section in their ordinance that requires kind of the securing of facilities of this nature. So it indicates the length of time trucks can remain parked and what kind of items can be kept in those trucks. That's discussed in item number 6. So I have some concerns about how they're proposing to monitor that kind of thing. Is it going to be open to all overflow trucking? They're going to put a gate, a fence. How are they going to manage that? We kind of already talked about item number 8. This is in reference to the HOP. And PennDOT is indicating that there was never an HOP provided for the existing strip mall facility and Eagle Billards there. So they're requesting that this developer go through and do the HOP process basically from the beginning.
In February 2005,
okay. Item number 9 here, and this actually pertains to most of my other comments. They did supply a landscaping plan, but the colors were so faint, we couldn't really indicate what plantings were where. I'm not sure if the way that the landscaping is now is going to meet the ordinance requirements just because of the way it was printed. Does anyone have any questions about this plan?
This is the existing Kmart site. This is pretty elevated site.
Above it.
It is.
Behind it.
Yeah, going further up the hill. That's another reason. I mean, when you look at the intent of the Casey Highway was to put all the industrial development over there, which we're getting. We're now getting it on the business 6.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which
that's really elevated, is right.
Right. And the way that they've designed the plan, it is as though all access will be from this shared driveway with the plaza. So even those trucks that are sitting back there in the overflow parking area, they'd all still be trying to utilize that same driveway. And like Mary Liz said, they're talking about right in, right out only. So it's very
between the light, the Kmart light, and the light at the sheets there. I mean, so I mean, there's no room even for another light. So I don't know how this is going to play out.
Right.
Hence PennDOT's major concerns.
Wow.
Yep.
Another good review.
Thank you, John.
Considering all the warehouses that are going up in the county, I was actually kind of stunned that they're wanting to do it off the business 6, considering the commercial traffic there.
Exactly.
Probably the price of the land was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was within their reason.
Yeah, maybe they already own the land.
Possibly.
Yeah.
They do.
Again, was there a boundary survey included in this, Jess?
There was.
Okay.
And that's all we have on the reviews. Anybody has any other questions?
Okay. If no questions, I ask for a motion to recommend approval of the reviews for October.
I'll make the motion.
Second. Chet.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All, any opposed?
Not opposed. Just let the record show that my yes vote does not include the plan prepared by LaBelle Associates. I'll abstain from the Crakey survey because it was prepared by our office.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, the motion carries. Okay. And any other business?
I do not have any. If anybody has anything to bring up?
And we have no public comment. Okay. All right. So seeing that, I would call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed?
Nope.
The motion carries, and we'll see you all at the next meeting. Great job, everyone. Thank you very much. Good work.
Great
Happy
job,
Thanksgiving,
Steph.
everybody.
Yep, happy Thanksgiving.
Oh,
Happy
yes.
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Great job.
See ya.
All right. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.